All right, folks, thanks for sticking around. And as you know, this is our post show. This is where we usually go into an extra geeky, deeper dive into whatever topic that we're talking about this week. So this week we just kind of split it up, right? We talked about tech that we got that was our favorite tech of the year. But this time, uh, instead of deeply diving into something in particular, like I said, we're going to keep it light. We're going to talk about tech that we didn't get, right? Something that we were either looking forward to. It was announced early this year. We heard rumors that it was coming and we just didn't get it. So we'll talk about that. And also, we have some follow up items that Greg wants to talk about. So before we get into the tech that we didn't get that we wanted, let's talk about some of these follow up items. Greg, what do you got?
Well, so I got another Anchor device. I took advantage of the sale that
Yep.
they had, right? And you were thinking about it too. I think it might have been still
Yep.
a little bit pricey for you, but so I've got these Anchor 2-in-1 chargers in both places, and they're
Hmm.
the nice modern. They just got a thin base and then the thin metal arm that goes up, and the MagSafe is connected to them. Well, they're
Right.
a little tall for my nightstand in the trailer, and in a camp trailer, you want everything to be super compact. So Anchor
Hmm.
had one. It's not quite as fat as a pop can, but that kind of cylindrical design, right? But it's
Right.
only about half as tall as a pop can. And then the
Right.
top part angles up, flips up, and you can do it on all sorts of angles. And that's the MagSafe charger, and the Qi charger is underneath that. So you still got two charging spots, and it came with an Anchor um, wall plug, which is good.
Yep.
I'm,
The
I'm
brick.
not
Yep.
buying anything but Anchor ever again. I've decided. No more Apple stuff. I'm just buying the Anchor ones. But
Right.
and matter of fact, I'll probably have to buy another double because I think I need another double one for out in the trailer. But anyway,
Yeah.
so that thing is great. It's heavier than you would think it would be, right? But I guess it kind of needs to be that way because there's no, it's not a wide base like these other ones. It's just pop can size, right? And so I think it needs a little more
Right.
weight so it doesn't tip over easy and all that kind of stuff. But I used it in here in the office for a few days just to make sure it was working, and actually seems to charge my AirPods better than these
Okay.
other ones because you and I have both had placement problems, right? Getting the AirPods in
Right.
just the right spot. And so, yeah, it was $60. So it was still cheaper than these other ones that I have, and
Right.
I'm super excited to have it out in the camp trailer going forward now. So
Yeah. Yeah. It looks really good. I remember when you sent it. I believe my reply was like, "Man, if it was in the $60 range, I would jump all over this thing."
yeah,
And yeah, yeah. So good sale. Good sale. And always, I always appreciate you sending me those deals and stuff because, I get deals, emails and things like that. But yeah, every now and then you get some pretty cool stuff that shows up in your feed
that's
or
the
on the sites that you're
only
looking
good
at.
thing about Twitter right now.
Oh, so some of the stuff comes from Twitter.
Yeah, because like I follow Anchor and I follow some of this other, 9 to 5 Mac and some of those.
Okay.
So the only good thing I've actually started now that we signed up for Threads, I've actually started trying to follow all of the same groups on Threads instead of Twitter
Yeah.
because Twitter is a dumpster fire as a company right now. So I
Right.
never thought I would want to do something with Meta versus another company. I just never thought that would even be possible, but
Yeah.
here we are. So eventually, I hopefully all that stuff is in there, but I just haven't had time to play with Threads enough to see if I get all of the same
Yeah.
information. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, great. I'm super excited about it, and maybe we'll talk about this in our show next week when about what we hope for next year. But I'm hoping I can, organize the tech in my trailer just a little bit better than it is right now. So
Yeah.
the other one that I had, I just noticed this. I haven't checked it out, but it's something I'm definitely interested in. So, I use continuity camera as my webcam, right? So I've actually am using my 15 Pro Max today, not the 12. And
Hmm.
so that's my camera here connected to my Mac. Well, they enabled that continuity camera for Apple TV. And I just saw yesterday that Zoom has made their app available, or it's coming very, very shortly. So you would
Yeah.
be able to put your phone on a stand up by your TV and use continuity camera and do Zoom on your TV. So,
Yeah.
which is something I want to get back to doing next year because I've got Dustin in Houston and Wyatt's away at college. And, I kind of
Hmm.
want to get back to having a weekly call where we just get together and chat or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. So, anyway, if you do a lot of Zoom and you'd rather do it on a big TV or even a smaller TV or whatever the case may be, and you've got an Apple TV, well, now you can take a phone and connect it as continuity camera and do Zoom on your TV now.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's continuity camera was a really good addition to the Apple TV, and being able to add in Zoom, and hopefully other companies will be coming soon. But I think Zoom is probably as equally widely used as FaceTime and stuff. So
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, you
good
can
move on
still do
Apple's part.
FaceTime on it and things like that too, which I
Yeah.
could do with
Yeah.
those two. But if my daughter can't come over to the house and she needs to be included, she's got an Android phone, so Zoom
Yeah.
would be
Zoom would be
better.
the choice.
So
Yeah. All right. Well, good deal. Let's jump into the tech that we didn't get, right? And always when I think about when I was thinking about, outlining the show, the number one thing that I wanted that I didn't get was these Matter devices that we were promised, right? So Matter is the new standard that is going to be shared by Google, Apple, all of these other ecosystems. There was something like 50 companies that signed on to make their smart home devices that they manufacture compatible with Matter, right? So it wouldn't matter. Matter. I'm using the it wouldn't be an issue if you were in Google Home and someone gifted you a gift from, that was Apple or HomeKit compatible or whatever, because they were all compatible, wouldn't matter. So we were promised like a bunch of cheaper, more inexpensive, switches and plugs and all that. And while I'm seeing it, it just hadn't had the adoption rate that I wanted to see. Right, I'm still seeing um, Google Home and Alexa still with the majority share of all the devices available, and those Apple devices still being double the price of all the other devices,
yeah,
which has always been the case from day one, right? You can get a Switch, again, we talked about like those cheap little Black Friday Bluetooth switches or whatever. You can get one of those for 15 bucks, or you can get one that's compatible with Google Home and Alexa for 30 bucks. Well, if you wanted one that was HomeKit compatible, it was 60 bucks, all from the same manufacturer. You know what I mean? And I got so tired of seeing that. And although that's less of an issue now because the devices are cheaper and cheaper and more abundant, um, we were promised a lot of Matter devices this year, and a lot of them just didn't materialize like I wanted. So that's uh that's something that I didn't get, but there's always next year. So more to come on that topic. We'll talk about that a little more with what we're looking forward to next year. But yeah, so Matter devices is my number one that I didn't get.
I'm gonna. I know we're gonna have one. I'm gonna save my biggest one for a little later, but mine's a
Yeah.
little older that we didn't get. That I just now that I'm so into MagSafe, I didn't really care that we didn't get AirPower. Remember Apple's
Yep.
AirPower mat
I
that you could
remember.
drop any device anywhere on the mat and it would charge just
Yep.
fine. So I'm a little bummed that we don't have something like that, right? Because like I said,
Hmm.
I've had problems. You have to get the AirPods on just the right spot, even on these Anchor devices, and to get
Yep.
them to charge the way they need to. I mean, they'll snap onto the charge pad, but that's where I put my phone. So, and the magnets make it just fine. But the thought of a mat that could charge up to 3 devices at the same time, including my watch, because remember, it was supposed to be the watch, a Qi
Hmm.
charger, and all of this stuff in one. So the idea of just not having to struggle to charge things, that's the one of the things that I
Yep.
wish we had gotten over the last couple of years. And I understand I don't want it to burn down my house for sure, and I guess that was part of the problem. But
Yeah, was it yeah, the heat issue, yeah.
so that was the first one that I thought of. And just real fast related to that, I know they're still working on the concept of transferring power wirelessly, meaning or without contact, right? Meaning the charger could
Right.
sit in the corner of the room, and as long as your device is in the room, it's charging. That
Yep.
sounds kind of sci-fi, and it sounds like, well, is that going to cook my insides and all that kind of stuff? But I know they're working on that
Right.
kind of stuff. But power right now is such a big deal, right? For everything we do, because these devices, they all take power. The battery technology, hopefully Apple's working on some new battery technologies. There's some rumors about that. But until we get better batteries, we've got to charge a lot. We just
Right.
do. So
Right. Devices can't get smaller or and lighter. right? Because now most of the weight from these devices are
Yeah.
the battery,
Yeah.
right? The heft, the solidness that you feel from these devices. So if going into the future, if we're talking about glasses on your face or lighter earbuds or lighter, we have to get those batteries lighter and doing things like being able to charge wirelessly. That's going to add to the comfort of these future devices, right?
Yeah.
Glasses can be a lot thinner. Even some of the ones like the one you sent, it didn't have the battery built in, right? It plugged into the back and you wore like a belt clip or whatever. I forget what that one was called. The X was it the X Vision or
X
something like
Real.
that?
X Real.
X Real. Yeah, yeah, really cool concept. And I saw some gamers using it. It looks really cool. And they said that that's a better idea instead of stuffing the battery into the frame,
Yeah.
have the battery externally. Now, if we can just get that to charge wirelessly or
Hmm.
MagSafe on the little charger or something like that to make
Yeah.
it more comfortable to wear. So yeah, I'm with you. Until battery technology gets better, we're kind of stuck with the smallest devices that we can get at this time.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I've noticed with this MacBook is the MagSafe cable. That magnet is stinking strong. I mean,
Yeah.
the old version of MagSafe was that super, super thin thing, right? It was about the width of a
Hmm.
hanger and had the side things on it and it clip on, and you
Yeah.
could bump that and knock it off easy.
Yeah.
I think if I
It'll
had
pop right
this
off.
plugged in somewhere and tripped over the cable, I think it's less likely to pull the magnet out and more likely to pull the MacBook off the table.
Right. Wow. That is pretty tough.
So,
But as long as you have it secure, that's a safe way to make sure someone doesn't walk by and kick the plug and it flings and it
yeah.
and it smashes on the ground or something like that. So it protects the plug too.
It's also putting a lot of power in, right? I
Yes.
mean, way more. And that's the thing. Yes, we've got better battery life, but that's because we've got bigger batteries and we've learned how to
Yeah.
charge them faster. And so all of these things combined, great. But I just wish I wish we had had that air power. I mean, it's not a big deal. Definitely okay without
Hmm.
it, but that was my number one.
Yeah. Yeah. So my number two, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about it because we're gonna include it into our 2024 show, what we're looking forward to. But it's the Switch 2. So just think back earlier in the year when the rumors first started swirling. They were saying that it was going to be available this holiday season. Just like Apple, we don't know what Nintendo's going to do until they stand on the stage. Well, not stand on the stage. They do those Nintendo directs until they have a direct and they say this is what's coming. This is when it's coming. So
Okay, so I'm going to throw out the big one. Um, no new iPads. I mean,
yeah.
none, zero. So not even. I mean, hints, sort of, kind of, maybe, possibly. We got a few towards the end of the year, but they didn't touch a single iPad in the iPad line, and
Yeah.
I'll sort of reserve judgment until next year to see if they do it kind of all at once and they finally fix the inconsistencies across the
Hmm.
iPad line. But if they do not do that, this was a major miss, in my opinion, on Apple's
Yeah.
part. The only thing we got was that new pencil.
Right. Which is not great.
No. So, I mean, I bought a MacBook. It's great. It does all the things that I
Hmm.
wanted to do. If there had been a viable iPad option, I still
Hmm.
would have rather have done that. So, uh,
But we kind of knew we weren't going to get a pro, right? Because even earlier in the year, the rumors were always spring.
let's
Maybe we were hoping for more details by
yeah.
this time of this year, but we know the pros were going to be next year anyway.
And they're generally
But
on an
I'm
18-month
with you,
cycle, right? And
right?
so yours is a little over a year. Your
Yeah,
model is a little over a year old at this point.
yeah, yeah. So, but I'm with you. The other iPads, no mini, no, yeah. There should have been something. So my last one is not really a something that I we didn't get that we didn't want, but it's this tech that I passed on, and that was the Ultra 2, right? There was one I was a little upset that they even brought out an Ultra 2, right? It's basically just a point 0.2 version of what we have. They only added in the ability to tap. Um, they added in the screen is a little brighter, right? And the new chip in it allowed for better
Yeah.
battery life and things like that. So it was just an incremental bump for us, but I don't think it's a bump that anyone needed, right? The Apple Watch Ultra, the
Yeah.
Gen 1 Ultra was still great. I didn't enjoy being outdated, less than a year later, but yeah. So I passed on that. That was some tech that normally I would have been excited about, but yeah, it just didn't do anything for me, and actually a little irritated because we know that this watch is capable of having that new feature, and it wasn't included in the software update. Maybe it'll come in the past. I mean, in the future, but they didn't include it on the current version. So yeah, that was something that I had to pass on. That you know,
Yeah, me too. That would be my last one too, right? I mean, the whole Apple Watch, it just didn't get a whole lot this year. Some of the sensors inside are improved, right? They finally got a new heart
yeah,
rate sensor, and but from the functionality standpoint, it's all,
yeah,
pretty much the same, and I just haven't had any problems. I mean, this device is just so rock
yeah,
solid that it was, I didn't think it was going to be easy to pass up on. In fact, I was telling you I was researching, trade in values and stuff like that. But then
yeah.
once we dug into, we got the cool watch face. I got to tell you, if the Snoopy watch face had only been available on the new one, and I knew how awesome it was,
Right.
that might have been
Yeah, that
tougher.
would have been a reason to, yeah.
Yeah, or color change, right? If they had had the black version of it, because I still think I would prefer a darker casing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was easy to pass
I'm
on
with you on that.
once we
Yeah.
got into it.
Yeah. Don't give Apple ideas. Tim Cook listens.
Yeah,
So if he's gonna be like, hey, they'll buy it if we just put the new watch face on the new device. Don't give him ideas.
yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, Greg, anything else? Anything else you want to throw in there? You want to mention before we go?
Nope. I think that's it. Short and sweet, easy episode this week. We'll get it out and get it
Yep.
published tomorrow and start thinking about our what we hope for next year.
Yep. Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and as always, we'll see you next week.